Hello, everyone. Welcome to Soulprint. Thank you very, very much for being here. Today, I'm going to do just a bit of a channeled message. It has to do with kind of the energy, if you will, around Trump and the Trump administration and the behaviors. So he already has one rep, trying to move paperwork through or whatever to allow Trump to have a third term, which is nothing more than an ego exercise for Trump. Just as simple as that, right? It's like he just wants to be made to feel so special, and this is one way to do it. All right. Those kinds of behaviors are, it's important that we all take a deep breath and instead of getting indignant or pissed off or just incredulous, that we just step back a little bit and recognize that this is a waste of time and energy, and it's not going to come to anything. But that the administration and the media people who follow him like a little dog, they're going to put the spins on it that they're going to put on it. So the latest one, you probably heard, um, there were two plane loads of immigrants, and he was returning them to Colombia. He was just basically saying, no, you can't. You don't belong in this country. Go. Well, Colombia said, no, no, no. You airplanes, you cannot land on our land. So the airplanes had to turn around and return to the United States. At which point, um, Trump got all testy and he said, fine, until you comply, I'm going to issue a 25% tariff on, everything that comes in from Colombia. And the next week, if you still haven't complied, it's going to be a 50%. And. So what does Colombia do? Turns around and says, great, not a problem. We are immediately slapping a 50% tariff on American goods. And it didn't seem to take very long for Trump to back off. But this is the thing, this is the messaging, and this is what I'm talking about. If you read, any of the reports or you happen into one of the Trump friendly kind of media areas, the message is he is so strong and people just do what what he says, and we are being respected again because we are strong. Well, no, no, that's actually not what happened. What happened is, as soon as he figured out, and probably somebody, told him, as soon as he figured out that, wait a minute, this was going to backfire, he backed down. And when he backed down, they backed down, and the planes have now gone to Colombia and landed. Okay. So the point behind this is I want you to be very mindful that you just don't take in the headlines and allow that to get you aggravated or stressed out. The other thing that, in conjunction to that, or in connection to that, is that it's very easy for all of us to say, oh, he's just so stupid. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's this, he's that, he's whatever. But you know what? We have to start giving him, I don't know, credit, but we have to start to acknowledge that he is able to manipulate things to suit him and to reward him really effectively. And he's done it his whole life long. And with the presidency, he is just, amped it up. I mean, God only knows how much money is moving and flowing into Trump like properties. Because it's a good way for other countries to sort of get on Trump's good side. He blocked all aid going to every other country except Israel. So you can see where he's playing favorite. He's flexing his muscles. He's trying to see what will and will not work. He's getting a lot of pushback from other countries, like Canada, saying, listen, you come after us with tariffs, we're coming after you with tariffs. And the thing is that nobody has been able to get Trump to understand the way tariffs work. And so he thinks that when he does something like that, he is causing the other country distress. And maybe in the long term they are, because eventually people are going to stop buying whatever products from that country because they're going to be priced, so high because the tariffs are getting slapped on at the retail level. Okay. And he just doesn't seem to understand that. And the thing, again, take a breath and step back. It's not like all the other countries can't turn around and do the same thing, and they will. And in doing that, they minimize his power. But the spin is going to be very, very different. The spin is going to be, he's amazing, he's so strong, all of these companies just bow and kiss the ring because whatever. So, I know a lot of us are being really careful in terms of restricting sort of our how much information we're taking in, because frankly, it's exhausting and it's depressing and it's sad, and there it's almost like there doesn't seem to be an end to sort of the madness or a bottom that he won't go to. So, sorry, something just popped up on my screen and wanted to upload something. Honest to God, computers. Okay, so the message behind the madness, or what I'm trying to get to here today, is this. Even though we are all being selective and careful about what we're taking in, we have to stay at least mindful of what's going on around us. And we have to look at it like logically and not allow our emotions to be the first and automatic response, because you know what? We did that for 4 years. In fact, hell, we've done it for 8, and we're all exhausted. And that's part of the strategy when you create ongoing chaos, right? Is at some point people just get so fatigued that they just disconnect. And when you disconnect from that kind of a personality with those kinds of intentions, they win, because the more people that almost like capitulate for they have to is an indicator of how strong and how powerful, et cetera, et cetera. And so be careful that not only are you not completely cutting yourself off, but that your responses are not instinctively emotional, or if they are, that you minimize them to like 10 seconds and then, get the other part of the story out, just like I've done with this thing with Colombia, right? I mean, they're talking about one thing, but the reality is something very different. And so it's just not going to serve any of us if we spend our time being indignant and nitpicking, okay? Because there are times when it's just simply more important to be mentally healthy than it is to be correct. And sometimes we get so caught up in the truth or what is correct that we sort of lose perspective of everything else. So I want you to be particularly mindful. Now, I don't know if any of you have seen any of the, little clips of Trump lately, but he looks awful. I don't know what's going on with him, but he has absolutely no energy. He has no focus. As usual, what he says makes less than any sense. But whatever's going on there, he is being encouraged to get as much of this stuff done as he can. And that's why there's just all this flurry. But again, pay attention not to what they're doing, but to how it's getting pushed back. Okay, that's where we tend to sort of lose track, right? It's not that he isn't not doing it; he is, but he's getting pushed back everywhere he turns around, except from, of course, within his own little party, and he has, for all intent and purposes, proved that there are a number of people on the planet, and certainly in the United States, who seem to still be able to walk and talk even though they're spineless. And, we've seen this with Republicans. They just simply bend to him. And the more they do that, the more powerful he has, and the more powerful power he has over them. So again, let's keep our focus on positive energy. Let's keep our focus on not what he's doing, but what the reaction is and what the response is and what the pushback is. Because in many ways, that's going to be far more telling in terms of what he does and does not get away with. The other thing that this man has learned is that, and I spoke about this before, is that it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. If it is sort of outrageous enough or attention grabbing enough, that's all people remember. They don't remember anything else. And one of the ones that comes to mind is him, leaking a rumor that Princess Diana was looking to purchase a unit in Trump Tower. Now, absolute crap. I was trying to think of a word that wasn't like really, nasty. But he knew it wasn't true. It didn't matter. What it did was it made Trump Tower and those units more attractive because, my goodness, if Princess Diana's looking at this, well, surely, we should give this a look, or we should give this another thought, or whatever it is. He gets that. He knows how to manipulate people that way. And, somewhere down the line, then the palace put out a thing saying, Princess Diana has no intentions of purchasing property in New York. And at some point, even further down the road, he admitted it was a bold-faced lie, but it got him what he wanted. And so I think it's time for all of us to stop thinking he's so stupid, because there are areas where he's not very clever. But there are some areas, I'm sorry, but he's really, really good at. And it's the things that he's really, really good at that tend to get us upset and riled up, because it's about the talk. And listen, I'm not saying that there aren't actions that are going along with this, like those two planes of people. But what I'm saying is, it is the first hit of information that we get, that is what sticks to us. That's what we retain and remember. And when we do that, we give him more energy and more power. And it's important that, for God's sakes, we're week 1. we're week 1 of this administration, and whether he's in office for 6 months or 2 years, or somehow, God help us, he lasts the whole 4, we can't be this fatigued. 1 week after the inauguration. How are we going to survive? Right? And so it's about taking care of ourselves, but not ignoring what's going on. And anything any of us can do to push back in our own way, whether that is reaching out to our representatives or calling the White House directly, or joining other organizations in your area that are working towards a better and stronger democracy, or the working for the rep in your area who is a Democrat or even an independent. We all have a role to play. And sometimes that role is simply with thought processes and energy work. And sometimes it is more tangible with physical actions and things that we can do and say. So that's where I would really encourage everybody to just put their focus on what do I need to keep me sane and healthy? What can I do to amplify the positive, powerful energy that I want? What do I do to create the change that I want to see? Because right now, it is just a flurry of insanity that is coming out of his mouth and the White House. And I just don't want y'all to get caught up in it. And like I say, and Dr. Phil, who I have zero respect for, basically, but he used to say to people, would you rather be right or happy? And it's not a bad question to ask, right? Because sometimes when we get nitpicky and we drill down into the details and say, well, this isn't right, it was actually this, or, all we're doing is reinforcing our own opinions and biases, but it's not creating change anywhere. It's not strengthening the positive and powerful things that we could do. All right. Please put your comments or questions in the comment section below. Thank you very much for all of your support, your guidance, your help, all of it. It's amazing and wonderful, and I'm really grateful for it. Things are a little bumpy at my house right now. Vanessa has somehow managed to significantly injure her wrist, and I somehow have managed to significantly irritate some sort of a muscle or a ligament in my arm. And so, honestly, between the two of us, I'm not even sure that we create a functioning person. So, I'm not sure when I'll be back, but I'll be around. I'm paying attention. And honestly, shuffling cards is really hard, so I'll probably be doing more channeled work in the next week or two, depending how long it takes for the part of my body to decide to forgive me. All right. Be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't allow somebody else's energy to deplete yours. That's not how it works. It doesn't have to work that way. All right. Until next time, take care and be well. Bye for now.